I'm very encouraged that this event will resonate very well with what we are doing in this occasion. Making and implementation phases of programs and strategies at every level and in every sector. The documents we are about to launch outline Kenya's ambition to implement a low-carbon and climate-resilient development strategy pathway. To begin with, the long-term low-emissions carbon development strategy provides the salient actions intended to enable the country undertake comprehensive decarbonization of economic activity and achieve resilience to the adverse impacts of climate change by 2050. Secondly, the National Climate Change Action Plan 2023-2027 maps out in detail the sequence of clear and measurable actions that form the implementation pathway towards the attainment of the long-term process of Parliament for expeditiously discharging their responsibility in a piece of legislation. This legislation will establish the necessary institutional framework to rally stakeholders towards the achievement of national climate action objectives. It is noteworthy that the primary thrust of the amendment is to provide the exploration of the full potential of carbon markets in Kenya in order to access adequate financing for effective climate action. An overarching goal of the National Climate Action Plan is to align climate action in Kenya, $62 billion. To access this level of funding, it is critical for us to collaborate with a broad coalition of stakeholders led by development partners in implementing various projects and programs. And I want to, in a very special way, on behalf of government and people of Kenya, thank our development partners that have spoken here and those who have not for being great partners of the Republic of Kenya. I promise you they deserve a better round of applause. Thank you. That's so little for us to do for the so much they have done for us. One such program is the Financing Locally Led Climate Action, which we call FLOCA, which is dedicated to supporting the delivery of locally led climate action by strengthening the capacity of county and national governments to manage climate risk from the bottom. The FLOCA program design provides a bold and innovative bottom-up decentralization of climate financing as well as decision-making, thereby empowering the lowest units, which are the grassroots level communities in each of Kenya's 1,450 wards. These committees will take charge of the process of identification, planning, and implementation of climate action based on existing climate risk and existing local knowledge. This approach not only aligns with the rallying call of this summit, it also reprofiles communities as agents of change. Climate action and resilience building are not mere victims of climate change. Further, it provides a framework for ready access to local and traditional knowledge and practices used by communities to survive and thrive in the midst of constant change and crisis. The achievements of the program so far include the establishment of fundamental climate action institutions in counties, including county climate change legislation and regulatory frameworks, county climate change units, and county climate change funds, as well as 1,450 ward climate change planning committees. As you can see, it is a robust network that is already built on existing institutions to avoid any duplication. Another commendable achievement under the FLOCA is the development of county climate change action plans through inclusive and through participatory climate risk assessments at the community level. Additionally, the government under FLOCA has transferred nearly $7 million, about R1 billion, to counties to support county institutional reform and county-level participatory climate risk assessments. This support has borne fruit and pointed us in a highly encouraging direction towards progress in climate action. As a result, I will today issue Kenya shillings 7.2 billion, approximately $50 million to counties in the form of county climate change investment grants, which together with the Kenya shillings 3 billion, about $20 million of county-owned resource allocations, will finance local climate action priorities in agriculture, water, and national resource management in every county, cascaded to every ward. I very sincerely thank our governors for their support of the program, which has made it easier for us to achieve so much progress in such a very short time. In the same vein, I encourage them to go further and offer more robust support for our efforts to grow 15 billion trees over the next decade in order to achieve a national tree cover of 30% by the year 2032. I commend the effective collaboration between the Ministries of National Treasury and Planning and Environment and Climate Change and Forestry with the Council of Governors, which have facilitated the implementation of FLOCA, recognize the significant support that has come from the World Bank, the governments of Germany, Sweden, Denmark, and Netherlands, and encourage more development partners to come on board. It should go without saying that the government remains fully committed to ensuring that funds mobilized under these and other programs are fully utilized for the intended purposes and in the intended manner, and that we shall remain vigilant, and I dare say ruthless, against any malpractice. Munajua mambo ni matatu. Effective partnership. Effective partnership is the engine behind the success of programs like FLOCA, which have placed Kenya firmly on the path towards adaptation and resilience, and also propelled the country close to establishing a national electric power grid made of 100% of renewable energy. Our vision to reach this target by 2030 as a prelude to drive green industrialization is the future of economic growth. We take the first step by forming the Accelerated Partnership for Renewables in Africa, where we will share expertise, experience, and innovations to accelerate the progress of our efforts to unlock our tremendous renewable potential to transform our economies. As a body of peers, the Accelerated Partnership for Renewable Energy in Africa, APRA, will rely on sharing, collaboration, and mutual reinforcement, as well as the power of partnership to enhance our capacity, empower the youth, and attract investment. Under APRA, I look forward to interacting closely with leaders from Sierra Leone, and my brother is here, Ethiopia, Namibia, Rwanda, and Zimbabwe, and to rely on their support to keep our partnership sharp and focused. I thank Denmark. Please give a round of applause to Denmark. I thank Germany. Please give a round of applause to Germany. The United Arab Emirates for their steadfast support since the inception of APRA as an idea. I take this opportunity to encourage the International Renewable Energy Agency, and I saw the CEO around, to enhance its support and hasten the deployment of renewables worldwide, and to empower APRA participants individually and collectively. In APRA, we must see more than an impressive an unambitious coalition pursuing a transformative. Say one or two things about the items I have listed. The strategy is important because it localizes what we are doing. The plan is important because it measures what we are doing. And the law, helps us to do three things. When I signed this law when I signed the bill into law on Friday, just 4 days ago, three things were top on my mind. Number one, it gave us an opportunity to make the Climate Council youth-friendly. It brought young people into the discussion table. Young people are the greatest stakeholders of the future. Number two, it made it possible for communities to monetize their actions. That communities going forward, there will be a framework for them to share in the benefits that come from climate action. And number three, it made it possible for us to have a legal regime that we can protect our assets and we can have government to government, private sector to private sector in an ecosystem where legislation underpins undertaking to avoid any challenges that we have seen in the carbon market space. I did promise when we were in Sharm el-Sheikh that we are going to take the lead. Today, Kenya has taken the lead as the country that has the most activity in the carbon market space. We intend to take that lead even further by providing the legislation that will enable us do that. And two more things, just to contextualize what we are having here with the Africa Climate Summit. There are two fundamental issues here. Number one is the power of opportunity. Yes, we are suffering the effects of climate change. Yes, every village and every community is undergoing distress by drought, by other mechanisms. But we are looking at the opportunity. That's why we are investing. The same way we are saying in this Africa Climate Summit, in this climate change crisis, there is a silver lining. And the silver lining is that we have opportunity to unlock the renewable assets available in our continent, whether they are minerals, whether they are energy, whether it is our young people, whether it is through smart agriculture, our arable and resources. We have an opportunity to turn the climate crisis into an opportunity for our continent. The same way we will want to do in every village in Kenya. And number two, the same way we are having a conversation in this summit about finance is the same way we are discussing money going to counties and going to every village. So it's a mirror of what we are doing at the Africa Climate Summit so that everybody begins to realize that this conversation is not an abstract conversation. This is a real conversation about real issues, real people, real situations, and real opportunities. So we are having that conversation about financing the same way we are having a conversation about how are we need resources. And we are making concrete proposals on how we can do that. We can use SDRs. We can use the balance sheet of the MDBs. We can discuss carbon tax. And we are going to be making very concrete proposals on how to raise that money. The same way we are having a concrete discussion here about the partners that are working with us to raise the resources that will go to the counties. One final request I want to make to my governors. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, whenever there is money for you, I do my very best to release that money. You are witnesses, even if you don't want to agree. Right? But now I